What's going on, everybody? This is Afro Think Tank. This video is to give you a comprehensive piece of information that I think all people who are exploring Africa as a place to establish yourself for the future, who's wondering when people say Africa is rising or Africa is developing, what that actually means, what that looks like, and what are the overall plans, like what's the 5-year, 10-year, 30-year plan for Africa. Because the thing is, as we see the world change, we see the globe is changing, we see power shifts, and we see the dynamics of who has power and who has leverage changing. And I need you guys to understand why it is that West African and Central African countries are changing and how they're developing, why they are developing, and why their development and their upliftment into the modern society is causing a lot of the other things that you see happening around in the world, right? As Africa uplifts itself, other countries are becoming desperate because they no longer have the teat of the African woman's breasts to suck from, if you understand what I mean. So now European nations who historically have no resources, right, are now fighting each other for resources because they can no longer steal it from Africa the way they used to. Same with Arabs. Even though we know they interfere with African affairs, they no longer have the same grip they used to have because people are waking up and coming out of the illusion of solidarity with these Arabs, via Islam, and solidarity with these Europeans via Christianity. Africans are creating their own agencies within their own countries to benefit each other and to work with each other economically in order to uplift all economies. Because the reason why African economies are where they are is because of the purposeful interference of white Western nations who benefit from that interference, right, in the tune of creating their white Wakandas and having unlimited resources to build, their dreams by taking it from Africa, having Asians manufacture it, and delivering to white Western Europeans who are the consumers of the world, right? Well, other nations their peoples are coming into money and they also want to consume. Therefore, it behooves other nations to manufacture and produce the goods that their own people want. And that's currently happening. And Africa, being aware of their riches, are now taking control of their resources, and they're doing business on an international scale with, via fair business, right? Because now they understand that they've been taken advantage of. That means white Western countries who used to take advantage of these various African nations now have to come back to the table and negotiate earnestly, right? Just because Africa's rising doesn't mean we're going to isolate the rest of the world. That's wishful thinking. We will always have to work with the United States of America. We're going to have to work with the UN. We're going to have to work with these European organizations. We're going to have to work with these Asian organizations because the economy of the world is global, right? There's no detaching ourselves from these other nations. But what we can do is make sure that the business is done equitably, that the business is done fairly, that the people of these nations benefit from the business being had by the well-to-do, right? So for all of you guys who are curious to see what exactly is Africa doing, especially West Africa, to uplift themselves, because that's where we're from, right? We're West African, so we should be finding pride in the development of West Africa because those are our kinsmen, right? So what this video is so you can understand. You can take this little clip I'm about to show you, and I want you to absorb this. I want you to overstand and understand what's happening here and pay attention. And here's your reference, all right? If you look at where African Americans reside, the African American home in America, we reside on the Eastern Corridor, right? From the Southern to the Eastern Corridor. But the richest portion of America is where all the Southern Africans moved to during the Great Migration. From Washington, D.C. to New York, that is where African people who left the plantations and left Jim Crow moved up to the north and established themselves in the major metropolitan areas in the Eastern Coast. And it just so happens that corridor is the richest corridor on the planet, okay? And we're about to have another rich corridor on the planet, and it's just across the pond, right adjacent to us, and that's the West African corridor from Lagos all the way up to Morocco. Will be the richest corridor, producing the richest people in the most advanced societies on the planet, and is currently under construction. Whether you want to believe it or not, based off the propaganda fed to you by the white man and white supremacy, Africa's on the rise, and if you as an African American want to get your own piece of that pie before that pie becomes too expensive, you better make your moves now, and you better take advantage of the mud, because once it becomes brick, it's going to be too heavy and too expensive for most people to mold and take advantage of. So anyway, without further ado, this is Afro Think Tank. Learn something, teach something. I'm out. And tell me what you think in the comment section.
The headlights of trucks stretch as far as the eye can see. Shipping containers, intercity buses, shared taxis. Every night, thousands of vehicles carry goods, workers, and ambitions along this coastal route. But have you ever wondered why West Africa's coastline is attracting so much global attention today? Where some see nothing more than a stretch of coastline, others see the next great engine of the global economy. Along just 1,000 kilometers of coastline, roughly the distance between Paris and Barcelona, one of the world's most promising urban corridors is beginning to take shape. And this is only the beginning. According to United Nations projections, Africa's population could reach nearly 3.9 billion people by 2100, representing almost 40% of the world's population. That single statistic changes everything. Much of this growth will be concentrated in cities, and nowhere is this transformation more spectacular than along this narrow coastal strip. 5 countries, tens of millions of people. One shared trajectory, rapid growth. From Nigeria to Ghana, through Benin, Togo, and Côte d'Ivoire, this is far more than a coastline, or even a collection of neighboring cities. It represents a profound geopolitical and economic shift. Every night, the lights of Lagos, Accra, and Abidjan glow almost continuously along the Atlantic coast, forming an expanding chain of cities that grows larger with every passing year. As Akinwumi Adesina, president of the African Development Bank, puts it, "A well-connected Africa will be a more competitive Africa. To boost trade, reduce transport costs, and integrate our economies, investing in regional corridors is essential." One day, this coastal corridor could rival China's Pearl River Delta or the northeastern seaboard of the United States. To put that into perspective, Berlin and Rome, separated by a similar distance, exchange more than $170 billion in goods every year. Between Lagos and Abidjan, trade remains only a fraction of that amount, revealing an enormous untapped opportunity. This coastline has become a living laboratory where Africa's cities of tomorrow are being built. Here, neighborhoods rise brick by brick, container by container, challenging long-held assumptions about urban development. What is happening here goes far beyond regional growth. It is about influence, economic power, and the future of an entire continent. West Africa is building its first truly integrated urban corridor, and its success will depend on one crucial challenge: transforming extraordinary population growth into lasting economic prosperity. But demographic growth alone is not enough. So, are we simply watching a handful of cities expand, or are we witnessing the birth of one of the most powerful urban corridors of the 21st century? Stay with us, because what you're about to discover may completely reshape the way you see Africa and the future of the global economy. Welcome to We Emerge, the best place to get inspired and make a difference. If you haven't subscribed yet, you can do so by clicking the subscribe button. Let's get started. Long overlooked, West Africa's coastline is now emerging as one of the world's newest urban epicenters. In 1960, sub-Saharan Africa was home to around 230 million people. Today, its population exceeds 1 billion and is growing nearly 3 times faster than the global average. By 2050, the Abidjan-Lagos corridor could be home to nearly 173 million people. Imagine almost the entire population of Russia concentrated along just 1,000 kilometers of coastline. That would make it one of the most densely populated urban regions on Earth. For many researchers, this region is already evolving into a megalopolis, a vast, continuous urban area where multiple major cities gradually merge into a single metropolitan corridor. Along some sections of the coast, urban development is already almost uninterrupted for more than 500 kilometers, progressively connecting Abidjan, Accra, Lomé, Cotonou, and Lagos into one expanding urban landscape. The term megalopolis was first introduced in the 1950s to describe the urban corridor stretching from Washington, D.C. to Boston in the United States, before later being applied to giant urban regions such as the Tokyo-Osaka corridor in Japan. So, what is driving this transformation? The answer is simple: demographics. The Abidjan-Lagos corridor already hosts more than 30 million residents and could surpass 50 million by 2050. Lagos alone welcomes nearly 5,000 new residents every single day, and that is where everything accelerates, illustrating the extraordinary pace of urbanization. In Lagos, this growth is impossible to miss. During rush hour, major highways become enormous parking lots, overcrowded buses, motorcycles weaving between cars, street vendors selling water and snacks through endless lines of traffic. Gridlock has become part of everyday life. For many residents, crossing the city can take several hours. Some arrive by bus from northern Nigeria. Others step off at Ojota bus terminal, carrying nothing more than a suitcase and an address scribbled on a piece of paper. Most have come in search of work and a chance to build a future in West Africa's largest city. And here's another remarkable statistic from the United Nations: 70% of Africa's population is under the age of 30. Yes, you heard that correctly. 7 out of every 10 Africans are younger than 30, making Africa the youngest continent on Earth. If this coastal corridor were a single country, it would already rank among the world's most dynamic consumer markets. But this story is about far more than population statistics. The transformation is visible in the urban landscape itself. This is a form of incremental urbanization, where residents build the city piece by piece. Cement depots, hardware stores, small neighborhood shops, entire communities rising one building at a time. The city is literally being constructed before our eyes. As Astrid Haas, economist and co-author of a major report on African urbanization, explains, urbanization is the megatrend reshaping the African continent. No country has achieved sustained development without strong urban planning. On a global scale, the comparison with other major urban corridors is striking.
I'm so pro-black, you can't get me to involve myself in diaspora wars. I'm every nigga on this earth. I'm African, I'm Caribbean, I'm Afro-Latina, I'm Afro-European. If you're a nigga, I am you, you are me. I don't know what to tell you. You're me, you're me, I'm you. I don't know.
Yep, time to go. That motherfucker coming over here. Ooh, shit. Hey, Carlo, bitch, look behind you. Ooh, shit, motherfucker.
Free Sudan! Boycott diamonds and gold! Free Sudan! Boycott diamonds and gold! We most definitely cannot forget about the people of Sudan!
Thanks for watching Afro Think Tank. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And follow me on Substack and Patreon for more content. Remember, it's Pan-Africanism or nothing.